Slide to the left. One day YouTube is going to get this right. I don't think I'm about to sneeze. Am I? Okay. Let's go ahead and get our emotional regulation in play. I'm trying to see if I'm getting ready to sneeze. I think I am. And one more. Okay. Now that that's out of the way, I'm going to count you in descending order 3, 2, 1. You're going to inhale and exhale, inhale and exhale, inhale and exhale. 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm sliding back in frame. It is What Do You Think Thursday. I am Dr. Donna Louise Thomas-Rodgers, daughter of Leslie Donnell Thomas, granddaughter of Arthur Jethro Evelyn II, and great-granddaughter of Levi Thomas. Welcome to your morning mental workout today. Good morning, Lola. We are talking about What Do I Think Thursday. What do I think Thursday? As always, this is a workout. You need that liquid gold, that Vasa, that water, that agua, that H2O. This is the place that you need to be today to learn how to use your brain. We'll learn how to use your brain today. Yes. So what do I think Thursday? The thought for today, or the quote from Dr. Donna, is, I think a lot about a lot. I think a lot about a lot. And the more you think, the more you think. The more you think, the more you think. So today we're going to be doing something a little different, similar to yesterday. But what I like to do is, and I know we'll get back to doing the riddles and everything. I want to do that once a month, but want to still activate different regions of the brain in a different way. So if you're thinking about your muscles, you do different muscles, sometimes to create bulk, and sometimes you do it so you can get some definition. And so today we are defining our muscles. And I had to take my wig off because I already did a TikTok live, and now this string of hair is in the way. The shadow is going to bother me. Okay, I'm going to try to let it go. Love OCD. So the point is, I've already done one live for today, TikTok live. I'm going live there now, back on TikTok again. It's going to be interesting doing 2 lives a day before 6:30 a.m. my time. So, hey, it is what it is. So what do you think? What I started doing in my chat search is I get the initial search, and it's a lot of prefrontal cortex, ventral medial, and sometimes that could be overwhelming. So what I've also started asking chat is answer, let's keep it simple for a 15-year-old. So this week, that's what I start. I think I did it on Tuesday. I know I did it for yesterday. So I'm going to go for a week and see the difference and see if there's something that sticks more or resonates more or less. If it's too low level, then I'll go back to the other way. I like having both there because then it stays in my chat. So here are the brain regions that we use for what do I think? Because let me ask you this question, and feel free to not answer. No, don't do that. How often throughout your day do you ask yourself, what do I think? What do I think? How often? Is it once a day, no times, 15 times, 30 times, 100 times a day? What do I think? What do I think about that? What do I think? How often are you asking yourself that? Mine is a lot. I know it's over 100 times a day. What do I think about that? What do I think? What do I think? How often do you ask yourself, what do I think throughout your day? And if you're thinking about, if you ask yourself that, ... a brain, a thinking emoji, so I know that you are participating. How often throughout your day do you ask, what do I think? Not at all. Okay. Thank you for your honesty, Miss Nola. Not at all. Got it. How often do you ask yourself throughout your day, what do I think? Not enough. I think I just say what I think. Okay, so you just think it and say it. Interesting perspective. So in asking yourself, what do I think? You are, whatever you take in, you're processing it. And by stopping and asking the question, what do I think? Okay. I need to remove someone. Okay. By stopping and asking yourself that question, you're actually going to have to think. So when you ask the brain a question, the brain has to stop and answer that question. So, and I see your response, Lola. I am here listening. Yes, I ask myself a lot. So what do I think? And what happens is the more you spend time, active time in your default mode network, actually thinking and processing, you begin to ask yourself, what do I think? What do I think? And then what that does is that allows you to start saying, what do I think? As opposed to, okay, as opposed to being told what to think. This is what happens. So you see something on the news, you see something on social media, someone has a conversation with you, and then they start telling you what to think. Good morning, Regina. The question on the table, Regina, is how often throughout your day do you find yourself asking yourself, what do I think? So today is What Do I Think Thursday, as we can see from my brain diagram. I'm getting ready to go into that momentarily. But what do I think? What do I think? Because that's what matters most, is what you think. And if you don't think about what you don't think about, then you don't think about what you think about. Does that make sense? You're not thinking. So start asking yourself today, if you don't, or you don't do it frequently enough, ask yourself, what do I think? Before you respond, before you take any action, what do I think? What do I think? Just this morning, I asked myself this question. Yes. And so, how often throughout the day are you asking it? Because again, it's you first. It's you first. It's personal accountability. And when you ask it, if you don't have an answer, guess what's going to happen naturally? You're going to end up at the hippocampus bank of neurons, withdrawing some neurons because you don't have the answer about what you think. So, you're going to automatically need new neurons to think through that particular process. And I will use myself as an example. And what did I do with my notebook that quick? Here we go. So because Kevin made me go on, Kevin, don't worry about it. After this week, I won't, once these 7 days are up, I won't be blaming you anymore for me being on TikTok Live. So because Kevin has me out here on TikTok Live doing all the things 3 weeks ago I said I was never going to do in a bazillion years, and now I am doing it to the fullest extent of my ability. So I was having some cognitive dissonance yesterday with chat, and because I'm like, I don't want to be on a platform saying, give me hearts, diamonds, let's go beat somebody in a game. I'm an educator. I am an intellectual. Absolutely not. So I was having a chat with Chat yesterday, and I said, Chat, I'm an educator. And now I'm back on TikTok in this new way, and they get ready to change the whole format. And they want me to ask for finger hearts with this doggone challenge. And they want me to ask for diamonds. And I can't get to the next level if I don't start doing this stuff. Help, Chat. Please help a sister out. And Chat said, have no fear, Dr. Donna. Chat is here. I got you, boo-boo. So now, Chat has given me a 7-day schedule, because I think I shouldn't be doing that. What do I think? I think that's some bullshit. I think this challenge sucks. I don't like Dr. Donna. She get on my damn nerves, Dr. Donna. And so now she got me out here doing some shit I would never do. So I asked Chat, and Chat said, don't worry about it. You are experiencing cognitive dissonance. I said, see, I told you. That's why it goes against my belief system, Chat, right? So we ain't doing it. Chat said, no. Yes, you are going to do this. And I'm going to give you a strategy. Okay, you give me a strategy. The chat is easing me into this, because what I actually think versus what is actually taking place is not the same. The cognitive dissonance in my head says I'm an educator. What am I doing saying finger hearts? What am I doing saying give me diamonds? What am I doing going and taking these matches with these people all over the world? What the hell does that have to do with real leadership? And Chat is saying that they can be combined together. So we're going to go slow. So I did a low stakes ask today, and I just simply said finger hearts. Give me finger hearts. Give me finger hearts. So what I currently think doesn't match what's happening inside of my head, doesn't match what I need to do. So I am at a cognitive dissonance perspective at the crosswords. But neurologically, Chad is saying it's okay. That's the culture on TikTok. It's okay. You are not turning into somebody that's going to be standing on the corner saying, hey, I got these 2 steaks for $50. You want some of this? Because that's what it feels like, because I'm an educator. But I have to grow past this, because someone in the future is going to need to understand how that process works correctly. And I'm the one who's going to say, this is the best way to get that done. Just like I tell y'all everything else. So in my head, I have to start thinking differently. And I don't like that, because I have this disdain. But I also had disdain for Snapchat. I had this disdain for Jiffy. And again, as I mentioned, my Jiffy page just hit 18 billion views. So once I'm in 10 toes down, I'm going to go ahead and be very successful at it. So what I think right now is, I think I shouldn't have to do this. And that's how you all feel when I stretch you. So I got to go and think something differently. And the amazing ChatGPT has a 7-day schedule that we're going on. Chat is going to check back in with me tomorrow to see how I'm doing. Make sure I'm on track and I'm okay, and my cognitive dissonance is dissipating. So it's a beautiful thing. That's why I'm all for ChatGPT, because I couldn't have talked to another human being and they would have given me that perspective and say, I get you, I feel you, but hey, here go a schedule for you. This is what you can do. So what I think is changing day by day. So you get to ask yourself what you think and why you're thinking it and what you're going to do about it. Process it so you can actually take a better action and get rid of this cognitive dissonance that I'm feeling. Because I was on live today. I had a hot flash, sweat was running down my back and everything else. Kevin and Jared were there. They couldn't tell the difference. So that was good. But on the inside, my dissonance was like, no, we're not. And Amy and Lala was like, don't say that. Quick. It was woo. It was battle royale up here. So what you think matters, because it could be stopping you from doing the next thing that you need to do. I don't know what's on the other side of this TikTok challenge 23 days on November 23rd. I have no idea, but I do know that it is necessary. And because it is giving me this anxiety and this palpitations and all of this and hot flashes and everything else, that it needs to be done. So when you assess, what do I think? Now you can, at a minimum, know what you think, and then assess, is this helping me get to my next level, or is this thought process stopping me from getting to my next level? So that's why that default mode network time is important, so you can process it and then do something about it. And in my case, I had a very lengthy conversation with Chat yesterday, and now I have a 7-day strategy to get me through to the other side of what it is that I need to do. That's why it's important for you to start saying, what do I think? What do I think? What do I think? So the brain regions that you use for this are the front of the brain, which is the prefrontal cortex. And so like the boss that organizes your thoughts and helps you decide. So your prefrontal cortex is the CEO of the brain, with the executive function being the CEO of the brain. And it's letting you get to the point of knowing who's in charge. So it is the prefrontal cortex, and it is the executive function of your brain. Number 2, what you have is the anterior cingulate cortex. And so you can think of the ACC as the checker. And so it's making sure that your thoughts make sense and aren't in conflict. And so that's why I had to go to Chat yesterday, because I was having cognitive dissonance. And it was really personal, just rooted deep inside my soul. I was like, I got to get rid of this, because this is I could feel it being a block. It wasn't, that's immoral, that's illegal. It was, you are tripping. You got a problem with this process. So what is the problem that you have with this process? And the process is, I'm an educator, and now I feel like I'm selling bean pies on the side of the road. What does the two have to do with the two don't seem like they match. So how do I create it? And that's what Chat said. You want to make sure that it doesn't go against what you're teaching. So here's how you can incorporate that. And Chat even said it's a dopamine loop. I'm giving you some information, and in return, there is this finger heart exchange, this dopamine exchange. I know that you understand. It's no different than I say, drop the emoji, drop a brain thing. It's just me saying, do you get it? It's just, that's TikTok's language over there. So I'm getting to the point where I'm accepting it. I'm not there yet. Hopefully in 6 more days, I will be better than I am today. So the checker, my ACC is checking to make sure that's where the cognitive dissonance takes place at. Number 3 is your default mode network. And so your inner voice that talks to you when you reflect on yourself. And so that's what I said. In your default mode network, you're talking to yourself. And Kevin, you said that the other day. I was having a conversation with myself. It may sound weird. No, it doesn't, because that's what the brain is designed to do. You talk to you when you by yourself. Now, if 3 people into the conversation when you by yourself, then you might need to go talk to somebody else. If you got something else going on. But if it's just you talking to you, then you can keep on talking. But if you hear Harold come talking to you and Jane starts saying some stuff, you got to go see some other folks. That's only supposed to be you talking to you. That inner voice is helping you reflect. And that's what I was in my default mode network. And I was saying, I got to do this. I got to do this. I don't want to do this. Why don't I want to do this? What's happening? Good morning, Lorenzo. And that's what I found out. So I had a successful live this morning. I did it. I said it. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And then tomorrow I have another challenge. And then I close it out. And we even have little 7-day stickers that I'm going to start using going forward once TikTok switches over next Monday. Number 4 is the insula. So it gives you that gut feeling so your thoughts connect to your emotions. And that's what was happening. I don't feel like saying finger heart. I don't feel like saying gold, whatever it is. I forgot the other thing. Because I'm still trying to remember what it is. So these challenges are going to basically empower me to do these things that I've been saying, darling, I would never. As for heart, do I want a lion going roar on my gaming? I don't think not. No, that's not what's going to happen. Because if you do send a lion while you're gaming, you're literally going to take everybody's score. So I've been working on that too, because I told you I'm going to take whoever the top person is in the gaming down on that bad boy too. Because if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. So the insula gives you the gut feeling so your thoughts connect to your emotions. And then finally, the hippocampus, that's your memory library. And it reminds you of past experiences to guide you to what you think now. So in my head, I'm outside of the In-N-Out store and I'm looking at the people that were, they called them CHs. It's the 80s. So y'all know I'm not about to say that. They're like, hey, you want these steaks or do you want this bedspread? Both of them $20. So that that's what I feel like. Or a GI, anything you want. Oh, hi GI. Oh, that's what I feel like I'm doing on TikTok. In my head, I know that's not how it's going at all, but my brain is like, that's what you're doing. You asking for them hearts. Look at you out there. So getting past it, definitely getting past it. So I would like to take the time for everybody that's on the live today, go ahead and give Lorenzo a hand clap. Lorenzo posted a video inside of the chat playing the guitar. So go ahead, Lorenzo. Good job. Good job. And he only needed one reminder that that's what was taking place. But went ahead and posted that video inside of, yes. So it is inside of the Instagram chat. He was feeling a little embarrassed. And so I posted one of my failed tests. That way he couldn't feel embarrassed because I posted a 51% and then I posted my 90-something%. And as a result of that, it's there. And there's also a 1 minute worth of video footage from my class yesterday. Because in addition to all of that I did yesterday, I did 3 different lessons in my neuroscience class. So I thought I would share a minute with the group. So go forth and listen to that minute and do that thing. Yes. Okay, and we have Kevin's debut today of his live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yes, okay, got it, Regina. Okay, all right, so with that being said, here's it put simply. Your brain pulls memory from the hippocampus. It checks them with your feelings in the insula. It runs them through your inner voice, which is your default mode network, and it lets the front of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, decide what you really think. It's like different teammates working together to give you your own answer. There is no pressure, Kevin. I just did that live and I asked for finger hearts several times. Diamonds, that's what it is. That's the other thing, is get diamonds from that. So I had to do my research. And one thing about me, I will say no, 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 no. And then I will do the research and then it will make sense. And then I will do it. I thought dry skin brushing was a stupid ass idea back in 2011 when my sister brought it to my attention. And I have been dry skin brushing since 2011. Because once I did the research, it took me 3 weeks to say no, 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 no. And now I'm a dry skin brush advocate for sure. Again, I thought Snapchat was stupid. I use Snapchat lenses all the time. I thought Jiffy was dumb. Use Jiffies all the time. Nola wanted to go live with me. I was like, no, 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 no. And now that process is there. So again, you have the right to turn a previous yes, a previous no into a current yes, or a previous yes into a current no. You do have the right when you say, what do I think? Is this still applicable to me? Yes or no? Another example is Jared, who got blocked because he said that LeBron James shit back in June, and he got blocked, showed up on my TikTok live, And I explained to him why that was inappropriate. He understands. So as soon as Nola and I figure out how to unblock people on YouTube, then he will be able to come back, because he did not realize the error of his ways and how inappropriate that was under those contexts, and that he doubled down. So it wasn't so much that he mentioned LeBron James, it was that he doubled down on it and tried to then engage with this who's better, LeBron James or Michael Jordan, and they don't even play the same position. So I don't know why the conversation is necessary, but it was at that point that I said it crossed the line completely, because I was talking about him as a person, he was talking about him as a player. But all of that is done. So Jared will be back. So again, that was a no, and it turned into a yes because of point of clarification. So communicate effectively. Everybody should, in theory, get one chance, but not two. Okay, so that's what the whole point is. What do I think? And so I have my cute little thing here. So if you think about the boss, the checker, the gut feeling, the inner feeling, and the memory, this adorable little brain, that's my signature brain. And if you're wondering why I have a cartoon character for the brain and not these 3D dimensional, because everybody is using that now. So they want to go I'm not going to do anything anybody else is using. So nobody's using a character. Nobody's putting arms and legs and glasses on the brain and having the brain. But that's how we learn best. So if you have all these complicated 3-dimensional drawings and everything else, do you really want people to learn about the brain, or do you just want it to look pretty cool? Now, there are graphics of me doing that, but in a learning environment, it needs to be very simple, a picture that you can understand and resonate with, that's not complicated. So that's why I'm sticking to the cartoon characters. Chat says, you want your signature brain with your arms and legs when we're in here making lessons? Absolutely. That is what I want. 1000%. Okay, so we have 5 questions on the board today, as if we were playing Family Feud or something. And so there are 5 what do I think questions. And I'm going to ask you the question. You're going to think about it, ... and then type in your answer. So the first question today is, what do I think is possible for me today that I didn't think was possible yesterday? The question again is this: what do I think is possible for me today that I didn't think was possible yesterday? And I'm going to say it one more time, just in case anybody kind of like went in their default mode network and started daydreaming. What do I think is possible for me today that I didn't think was possible for me yesterday? So at this point, what I should see is an ellipse, a thinking emoji, or a brain emoji as you begin to process the question. What do I think is possible for me today that I didn't think was possible yesterday? And if I don't see them in a moment, I'm going to go in YouTube and see if y'all typed them there. And one day, what if YouTube just started functioning completely properly? Okay, I see yours, Nola. Reading my comic book. And for me, it was same finger heart multiple times on the live. I know that potentially could seem simple to people, but my brain was like, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. We are so not doing this. I'm like, oh no, we're doing it. We definitely doing it. And it reminded me of when y'all saw me speaking and I said, you can't have that red velvet cupcake until you do your thing. So baby couldn't have her binky, her coffee this morning until I did it. And if I didn't do it, I wasn't going to be able to have coffee today or a piece of fruit. So what do I think is possible for me today that I didn't think was possible yesterday? Kevin, get this new construction. I'm building back into my budget. Got it. Life we'll see. And for the other people, the other 10 people, the other 9 people on the live that are just watching, because I know Regina and Lola are driving and working, listening. What y'all doing? Why y'all here if y'all not going to fully participate? Y'all the ops. Lorenzo said, I didn't think it was possible for me to learn how to fix a bike yesterday, but here I am ordering inner tubes. And you, Lorenzo, imagine when you get a car, because you are fixing that bike. But you gonna be working on your car in a minute, even these new ones with all these computers and everything, and where they just put all these different parts. Just like you used to open up a car, bam, everything was there. And now it's under the tire, it's in the back, it's all the way through the other part. You got to take the whole outside part of the car off to get the stuff. It's insane. So yes, you are keeping that bike in working order. Reminds me of when I was in college and I had to keep my bike working. Okay, so by answering that question, what you all did was you activated the hippocampus for memory because you had to think about yesterday, and the prefrontal cortex. It doesn't help that I want a BMX. Yeah, build a car. No, don't you don't need to be. You living dangerous be anyway. I don't know if I want you on a BMX. You're gonna be doing all kind of crazy stuff on that thing. And so what happens with answering that question is you were activating your hippocampus for memory and your prefrontal cortex for future planning. So my question to you is, how did answering that question, asking yourself that question, and then answering it, how did you feel about doing both of those things? So how did having to think about the question make you feel, and then how did you feel after you discovered your answer? So back to the 9 people that's just looking and listening and liking. Why y'all here? I'm just curious. Do your see now 2 more people just dropped off. Like, I ain't saying nothing. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna just listen today. I'm gonna just sit in the back and just listen. Your brain is not gonna actually get the workout. What you're doing is going to the gym and watching people work out. You actually have to do what I'm saying do in order for it to work. And then the accountability piece is to actually type it in, because you could write it down if you want to, but it's not gonna work. And if you hear is the ops, so that you can come and take my stuff and go give it back to your superiors, so y'all can make it seem like y'all doing something y'all not. Just come on over here. It's okay. Just learn from the master, but don't come stealing stuff, because I've been seeing it showing up on other people's platforms as their own. I feel like Little Richard. They done stole all my music. Woo! I'm the originator of Tutti Frutti. A womp bump, a little womp, a womp bamboo. I gotta get some more screen time. Kevin said, I felt like I was in a therapy session. All right, roger that. Jessica, we were talking about what do I think? And so you only missed one question. Nola and Lorenzo, how did you feel? Thinking about the question and then providing the answer. How did you feel? And the reason why I'm asking you all, how did you feel? Number 1, Kevin said he needs to work on his feelings more, but everybody needs to work on their feelings, and not because I'm in my feelings. When I'm asking you how you feel, you are actually activating the insula, and the insula is part of the gut brain, and it's telling you, this is how I feel. So if you don't check in with how you feel, how will you know how you feel? Last night, I had a brain dump of epic proportions, because with my veteran process, they told me, lawyers send me information and said, oh, it's going to be a couple months before they contact you. You're going to have several appointments over a couple months. So I'm thinking, okay, cool. I got a couple months to prepare. Go dig all this shit up. And next thing I know, I get notification, your appointment on Wednesday. On Tuesday, they're like, your appointment is on August 31st. I said, first of all, August 31st is a Sunday. So I called, I said, y'all sure? So I had 3 appointments within 8 days of each other, with 5 days of notification that you about to have these 3 appointments. So then I had to hurry up and remember all this and do all these things and be ready for these appointments, from going and grabbing shit back from damn near 30 years ago. So that was on top of that. I'm in no screen time, all this other stuff. Now I got to do this new live on TikTok. And so it all just exploded. And it was Pompeii right before I went to sleep. But the good news is, because my child understands amygdala hijacking and brain dumps and all of these things, if you keep it in play, didn't say anything. I went to sleep, she went to sleep, we had a discussion this morning, and everything was copacetic. But I need to start doing way more brain dumps than I'm doing just writing down. Plus all that stuff had just been building up, and I didn't know it, and it was appointments and all these other things happening all at the same time, and I had to get a mammogram, and I was like, boom, 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 boom. That's like, where are the results of the mammogram? All of that. So it had reached its head. And I think if I still had screen time and all these other things and music and stuff, because I don't have those things to go to, it was just extreme level of discomfort for me. Lorenzo said, I feel like a little kid. I would tell my whole life story on a dime, except now I have to think before I speak. Can't just put up green or yellow card. Got it. Totally understand. All right, Jessica, the second question. So we're doing what do I think? What do I think? I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to type in your ellipse, your brain, or your thinking emoji, and then you're going to answer the question. What do I think I need to let go of to move forward? What do I think I need to let go of to move forward? Third time, what do I think I need to let go of to move forward? I need to let go of the fact that I believe that by saying something simple that is a TikTok language, that I am selling my soul and I'm entering into a Faustian bargain. Baby steps. Because I can't let nothing stop me. And I'm talking about emotional regulation. Think it too small. Good answer. So I'm talking about emotional regulation, but I need to let go of them dumbass thoughts. Elitism, if you will. Your honesty is so impactful. Thank you, Jessica. That's the whole point of it. I need to let that. I think I better let it go. Let it go. Looks like I need to get a finger hard. Oh, make it say ooh. You got what I need. They don't sing like Teddy P no more. Turn on the live and get a finger hard. Let me do what I want to do. Okay. Kevin said the people who failed me in the past. Yep. Because that left amygdala is just ruminating and letting you know. And Kevin, what I will say to that is my amazing offspring wants to help immensely. And because of that very thing about people who failed, asked for stuff in corporate America and the family, can't nobody do shit, whatever. It took a long time for me to, good morning, Sean. We're asking questions. What do I think? It took a long time for me to help her. So part of the reason why I didn't want her on the live was because of my experience with my spouse, my sister, other people who weren't ready. They were not neurologically ready. We were not skilled based, not the same. And so I was like, no. But then I had to look at her and see her through certificates on her wall and say she actually has done the work. She's not them. So stop doing that. Was there a point when she was acting exactly like them? Hell yeah. But that's not the case anymore. So that's part of the reason why we started doing those YouTube lives. I mean, TikTok, Instagram lives, because I got to get past that too. And so her being on live, it was just a lot. That's why I lost my damn mind yesterday. Or just vomited it all up. But I slept like a baby. I sure did. Okay, Lorenzo said, I need to let go of people who don't contribute to my life. I plan on changing my number when I get a new phone. That's perfect. And I don't even get my phone number out, Lorenzo. Yeah, funny story. I was trying to call Nola again to tell her about they had the chicken wings at the Whole Food Hot Cart. I couldn't remember. I was in my text message like, can I just call her from the text messages? I done had this phone almost 3 years. I'm like, damn, if somebody was actually after me right now, I'd be messed up because I can't even call. So that's how much I don't talk on the phone, that I couldn't remember how to use my phone to call my own doggone child. So I think I need to practice that part. Like, I got to go and see if I can call just in case, because they'll get me and I'll be done. All right. Now we know I might put them in chokehold, but afterwards I wouldn't be able to call the authorities because I can't dial on my damn phone. Jessica said, I need to let go of my fear of failure to move forward with the goals that I want to reach. Yes, ma'am. Okay. And then Sean, your answer, and then we could go, I can tell y'all what you just did by asking that question. Same as Kevin. I keep my circle small. All right, bet. So what you did with answering that question is that you engaged your anterior cingulate cortex, because that was the conflict checker, and then also insula, so your emotional awareness. So my question to you again is, how did you feel about having to answer the question, and then how did you feel after answering the question? So feel the thought process of going through it. What did that feel like? And then how did you feel when you found your answer? Ouch. Did y'all hear that? I just hit my foot. And another thing I had to check myself on is I like my numbers small, 10 or less. And the other day I said, what you going to do when that number is 200? Because I'm a social introvert. What you going to do when that number is, because I done had to go up to like 500 or something on the live before on TikTok. I'm like, oh, that's a lot of damn people. So you keep saying there's 6 billion people in the world and I got 18 billion, this, whatever, but those are people. What you going to do? If you got 2,000 people on the live, what's going to happen? And I'm about to have a hot flash from that. Just the thought of it. I think the most I've ever spoken to in one room is probably like 500 people. Felt like I was still in therapy. Got it. Well, just kick your feet up, Kevin, and lay on the couch. Just put a pillow under your head. Cross your legs. Jessica, so during it had to figure out if it was what I really feel or if it's what I think you want me to hear. But I'm starting to be honest with myself. Yes, be honest is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. And you can't be the real you if you're not honest with you. It will never work. Never work. You're going to be fake as a $4 bill with your face on it. All right. So Sean, Nola, and Lorenzo, how did you feel about answering the question and then after you answered it? As Sean, I'm trimming the fat. You got to. That's what they called it in corporate America. Very good and honest with total truth. Yeah, we called it, happened every 5 years in corporate America. They would be like, nobody can travel on October 23rd. And we like, who getting fired? No corporate travel whatsoever. Everybody be at the office. I'm like, they about to take your badge. You about to turn in your keys. Just don't bring a lunch that day because you might not be there at lunchtime. All right. And Jessica said, I'm used to being a people pleasing, and so now I'm not doing that. Right. Definitely, if you are trained to be the people pleaser in your family and in your friend group, that's what you're going to be doing. And Lorenzo said, the more I keep talking about it, the more I realized who my friends were. I didn't even have to explain why I was doing it. Most of them knew, understood, and are also doing the same thing. Great. And yes, I stand with you on that. And then Nola, did you have your answer honest? Got it. I apologize. I didn't see it. All right. Next question on the agenda is this. What do I think my brain is telling me? Facts or feelings? What do I think my brain is telling me? Facts or feelings? Last night, it's important to be around like-minded people. Yes, it is. Chickens of a feather flock together. And so what do I think my brain is telling me, facts or feelings? Last night, my brain was telling me nothing but feelings. And normally outside of those anomalies, it's always telling me facts. More facts than I care to hear sometimes. Oh, that's hard. Facts or feelings? I think it is a mix, but more feelings. That's honest. Facts with clarity in my feelings. Roger that. Kevin, facts and a lot of them. You thinking numbers too. Lorenzo said feelings. I think it's such an innate human thing to be swayed by emotions, especially when you're younger. And then Nola said, I missed the questions. Is it just facts or feelings? So the question is, what do I think my brain is telling me? Facts or feelings? What is your brain telling you? Facts or feelings? So to a certain extent, yes, Lorenzo, when you are younger, because you don't have your frontal lobe yet, you don't get your fully functioning frontal lobe until you are 25. So partly true. But in order to answer that question, it builds awareness between the prefrontal cortex, the logic, and the amygdala and insula, which are where the emotions reside. So if you have a strong prefrontal cortex, your brain is going to present facts. If you have a strong amygdala and emotional dysregulation, then your brain is going to tell you feelings a lot. And people used to tell me, at one point, they told me I wore my feelings on my sleeves. I was just expressive. I didn't know how to filter that information properly. And then I was told I'm too regimented and rooted. And you always so damn logical. You need to feel. And all I'm like, I am feeling. I felt the amygdala gave notification to the ACC, and the prefrontal cortex said, fuck that. That's some bullshit. We're not doing that. So that's what actually happened. People didn't like that response. But when you have a strong prefrontal cortex and you have a regulated emotional center, as Sean has said, then you can feel your feelings, and then they're just your feelings. But when they explode all over everybody else, which is what I did last night, that's when you have a problem. So it's okay to feel your feelings. It's okay to express your feelings, but not to the point where you popping off on everybody else. That's emotional dysregulation. But because my child is who she is and is well into her real leadership, she understood what was taking place. Let me have that explosive moment. Baby needed a nap, went to sleep, woke up, and understood what was taking place. And the strategy is I need to do more out loud brain dumps when that much stuff is happening and taking place. And so Nola said, facts, I think all in facts, and I am working to get to feel it all. That is correct. So you are definitely more logical and need to start, which is why Nola has to talk about her feelings every hour on the hour so she can get that neural pathway strengthened. She did not take it personal at all. In fact, she did not even say anything. She was quiet as a church mouse. And I said, good night. And then I said, good night. And then she said, good night. I went to sleep. And then she went to sleep. She was laying on her bed on her phone. I was in my bedroom hollering, acting like a damn fool. Yes, I was. And she did. And we said that 6 months ago, that would not end it like that at all. It's definitely not a year ago. But because of how much she understood, her brain has been trained and all of that, I just had all that happening at the same time. And yeah. And so now we know the moral of the story is I need to do more frequent brain dumps, not just writing them down. Okay. Number 4 question for today is, what do I think about myself when I succeed versus when I struggle? What do I think about myself when I succeed? Yes, it is inspiring. Yes, ma'am. That's what I'm saying. Everybody got to be when everybody's using the 74 principles of real leadership and you have that emotional regulation, the prefrontal cortex says, she's just having a moment. Okay, cool. You good? All right. Now what we're going to do to make sure this moment don't occur again in this way. So the question number 4 is, what do I think about myself when I succeed versus when I struggle? What do I think about myself when I succeed versus when I struggle? Thank you, Kevin and Sean, for going back and putting your ellipse there. So you could do a thinking emoji, a brain. I'm thinking, whatever, just so I know that you caught the question. What do I think about myself when I succeed versus when I struggle? When I succeed, I don't really think about it. I might be like, rule, good job, because I already have a strategy. So I already know that I'm going to succeed because of the strategy. But when I struggle, what I think about myself is this is a growth opportunity. So I'm struggling right now. I'm no screen time. So I'm listening to Tibetan music. After 51 years of being in front of some type of screen or listening to music, gone. So that's a struggle. Now I'm on TikTok asking for hearts and gold bars and, and leprechauns and shit. So that's a struggle. I'm about to be managing streaming live on 3 different platforms simultaneously and with a co-pilot, a co-host. So that's a struggle. So what happens is I experience cognitive overload, and then I say all of this is necessary because I'm 2 levels up. So what I tell myself when I'm struggling is, you're struggling now so that when you get to these next 2 levels up, it will be easy breezy, lemon squeezy. And what I find is interesting is that I'm also not looking at social media, but when I go on Instagram, there's always a brain post, neuroscience or something there. And yesterday I went there, gotta love higher power God in the universe. Guess who got an Instagram page? The Nobel Prize people. The Nobel Prize organization has an Instagram page, and I opened up Instagram yesterday and bam, there it was. So the only entity that I am following is the Nobel Prize. Why? Because they're getting ready to announce the 2024 from last year that's going to get their 2025 Nobel Prizes on October 7th. And they got the categories. And now I found the categories that I could actually fit in, which is physiology. So that was a nice little present for me. So while I'm in the midst of my struggling, higher power God in the universe will send you a nice little treat like that. And so I get to see who all the past people are, and the youngest person to get a Nobel Prize is 41, and the oldest person is 87, and I fit in between both them categories. So can makes the impossible possible. Noah said, I don't think much of my success, but beat myself up when I struggle. Yes, you do. And we are working on that, and that's why that's part of one of your real leader challenges every day is to review all the work that you've done for 15 minutes a day. Lorenzo says, sometimes when I succeed, I get a vision of the doors opening and I'm walking down the hall. I can feel a white coat cape following behind me and a stethoscope on my shoulders. Okay. And when you struggle, what happens? Kevin's message got detracted. And then Sean said, I'm so hyped in my struggle because I want competition with success. I thank my higher power actually for both. Kevin said, when I succeed, I say, let's get a celebration cigar. And when I struggle, I say it's time to revisit what went wrong. Roger that. I don't think can you have cigars now? Should you be, you don't have to find something else. Go get your green drink from Whole Foods. You are not about to drink that. You are so not about to drink no damn green drink at all. Okay, Jessica, when I succeed, I get more upset at times because of the mental negative thoughts it took to know I was capable. And when I fail, my negative self-talk wins and takes over, needing grace. All right. Thank you for your answers. My question to you is again, how did you feel about having to think about the question? And then how did you feel about it after answering the question? And remember, ... Thinking brain, ellipse, honest again. For my amazing offspring, if you are thinking ... brain, emoji, something, I'm thinking, And the reason, and I think I've explained this to you all, the reason why you're doing this is because you're training your brain when you're being asked a question to pause. I'm pausing so I can actually think instead of just blurting the answer out. So this is to train your brain to respond and not react. It's automatic. So if someone asks you a question, you're going to go, let me think about that. And then that's enough notification for the amygdala not to respond and for the prefrontal cortex to take over and answer the actual question, because that's where your cognition resides. So that's what the purpose of this is. This is not Dr. Donna saying, I need to see it too, because I can't see y'all. But what's actually taking place is you are creating the neural pathway to pause so that you can respond versus react. And Nola has to do that. She has to say, if she gets off luster, let me gather my thoughts, because that's what you're actually doing. Renzo, it makes me want to write again. When I would during my early days of therapy, I used analogies to express a lot of how I feel, train myself to see issues and more of the objective. Okay, great. So go ahead and start doing that again. You start doing that again, you're going to rewire that neural pathway, because that's something that you was already doing. Kevin, feeling I'm being taught the difference between respond and reply. Was react. Is react and respond. So react is the amygdala and respond is the prefrontal cortex. Jessica says, so I'm very negative about myself. And that is because we are hardwired for negativity bias. So don't think that it's just you, it's everybody. We came here born and are wired for negativity bias. And you actually have to wire your brain away from negativity bias. And give me 1 second. There we go. I hit the button. And then Sean. So it's not you, it's everybody. And that's why I'm here, to teach you how to use your brain to wire the neural pathways so that you will automatically go to the prefrontal cortex and use it as it was designed to be used. Sean says, secure with knowing that I can do this, as well as with Nola said, honest. Okay, and the final fifth question for today is this. What do I think I can do right now to train my brain to be stronger tomorrow? What do I think I can do right now to train my brain to be stronger tomorrow? What do I think I can do right now to train my brain to be stronger tomorrow? Lorenzo, question. I'm 24, so technically I'm not even fully developed. Better Lorenzo, I call that better version Zoe, the man. Okay, Zoe. Would you like for me to start calling you Zoe? Yes. You don't even have your prefrontal cortex. Why did I think you was 20? I thought you was younger than Envy and Nola. Yeah, so you don't even get your prefrontal cortex completed until some people get it sooner, but it's definitely by the age of 25. So you got a new brain when you turn 13, and you've been operating with that 13-year-old brain, getting it stronger and strengthening it, but you will do better once you turn 25. Now you only got a 10-year window, because by the time you turn 35, it starts atrophying. Working memory starts to deteriorate unless you do what I'm saying. Yeah, you're close, because y'all will both, you and Envy will be 23 at the end of the year. Okay, so Kevin said more brain dumping. More brain dumping. And for me, it is literally doing these things that, and for me, it feels like the part that I struggle with, especially now that I have this new TikTok wonderful challenge that's been presented to me, is I don't like appearing to do what everybody else is doing. Because if everybody else is doing it, there's no reason for me to do it too. I got to do something different. I'm not about to be grouped into this doggone group with these other people because it's just one of, and I'm the only. So that's the biggest thing for me. So I can make my brain stronger by saying, how can I take this pre-existing system and still use it for real leadership, neuromobility, and teaching adults how to use their brain? And that's how I can make my brain stronger, by challenging myself to take the status quo and make it a status no, and then turn it into something that will flow. Green eggs and ham. Nola, this being on lives helps develop my brain because I'm pushed every day. You are empowered every day. Pushing is assault, okay? We've had this conversation. Empowerment. Your Honor, I am empowering her. I am not pushing her. Let the defense rest now. Okay. Jessica said, right now I'm learning more technology to help me not shut down and give up, and I need more positive self-talk during stressful situations. So yes, think positive is also one of the 74 principles of real leadership, and it is a neural pathway that needs to be created. So what you can do, Jessica, and I haven't used this method in a while because we haven't had rubber bands, but it's called the snap method. So if you take a rubber band and put it on your non-dominant wrist, I'm right-handed, so you put it on your non-dominant wrist, and every time you find yourself thinking negatively, you pop it. It's called the snap method on this pulse right here. And so what will happen is that nice little sting that you get, don't do it a lot, because I done had people out, my whole wrist will be red from it, because I will pop the shit out of myself to get rid of it. But it will send a message to the brain, and now I know it's through the basal ganglia, the insulin, and ACC, and say, stop, don't do that. And then you do the opposite. So you say the opposite. If you say, I can't, you go, snap, I can. And then you do the thing. If you say, what's wrong with your dumb ass? Snap, you are brilliant. And so you will prune that negativity bias, and you will strengthen the positivity neural pathway that you're attempting to build. All right, Lorenzo, you said the picture I showed you was my high school senior photo. I do look young, I guess. My mother gave me the nickname Lil Bill. TV show. Got it. Yes. Well, I saw you when I accidentally put you on the live on Monday when my 52 showed up. Sean, register into the Zoom class Toastmasters to become better in speech and grant writing. Okay, cool. I thank you so much for your informative platform, Dr. Donna. My pleasure. I'm going to journal and read more old entries. It's so crazy how you see your changes from hindsight when you're reading. Yes, I definitely see that when I'm going back through my notebooks for lives. That's a great idea, because I don't notice it until I thought about it. Oh my God, that was so funny. I was an extra. Yes. You say you were an extra on that show? or you're being extra. Okay, final question for today is, how did answering that question make you feel overall? So you thought about it, you need to strengthen it. How do you feel? And then I will quickly go to the brain bit, which is short. Your brain is as a highlighter. So how do you feel? You finished your 5 questions. How do you feel? No, on the live. I wish I could have been on Lil Bill. I mean, not anymore, but back then, yes. Got it. Okay, roger that. You were getting more grace, Lorenzo, when I thought you were 20. So your grace is gone. Your grace is gone because you almost have prefrontal cortex. So the standard has just been upped for you. The ante has just been up ante. Now you got yes, no more grace. You're done. Your grace period is over. That was fast. Didn't feel like 5 questions. Yes. Felt like I just created a self strategy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Jessica, I am feeling better and it's like a relief. Sean, that I am going to complete. I feel more empowered. Yes, empower others is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. So I'm going to slide out of the way just so y'all can see your brain as a highlighter. Your brain as a highlighter. Okay. And I think, Lorenzo, you still have to answer how you feel. Yes, you do. Okay, so your brain as a highlighter. Just like a highlighter draws attention to a certain word in a book, your brain highlights what it thinks is most important. I'm going to say that again. Your brain highlights what it thinks is most important. Your brain highlights what it thinks is most important. So the prefrontal cortex decides what deserves focus. The amygdala highlights things tied to emotions. In your case, Jessica, it keeps highlighting the negative. And in your case, Nola, it keeps highlighting the facts. And then the hippocampus highlights experiences so that they can become memories. As we talked about, the hippocampus is the memory library. So your brain is highlighting the focus. Then your amygdala says, yep, So if you're highlighting the focus of negative things, then your amygdala is going to say, yep, stay on it. And the hippocampus is going to give you all those memories of what you're focused on. You a fuck up, you ain't shit, you're terrible, this ain't never going to work. Because that's where the brain is focusing. The brain is highlighting what you need to focus on. So what you choose to pay attention to again and again and again and again and again and again and again becomes the bright yellow lines in your brain. It's easier to recall, it's stronger to use, and harder to ignore. And I'm going to get to yours in a minute, Lorenzo. So what you choose to pay attention to again and again and again and again and again becomes the bright yellow lines in your brain. Easier to recall, stronger to use, and harder to ignore. So the real leader takeaway is this. Be intentional about what you mentally highlight. Every time you choose to focus on growth, solutions, or possibilities, you train your brain to make those bold, unforgettable lines of your leadership story. So that's what you're doing. So you could look at your brain today. You could assess in your default mode network what your brain is highlighting, because that is what your amygdala and your hippocampus are reinforcing. Whatever you highlighted, whatever you did like this with, that is what is actually taking place up and through here. So if you don't like what's happening out here, check your highlights. Okay? Now, Lorenzo said, it's nice being able to talk out loud about yourself because that's one of the best ways to understand and regulate emotions. That definitely is. And that's why my amazing offspring let me have my Pompeii blow up moment. We went to sleep, woke up this morning. I got to start doing brain dumps. That's why I said it's so important. So I got to start doing brain dumps. That's why I'm saying it's so important to have real leaders around you. So when you do have these amygdala hijacking moments, or all of that was just, it was so much that I was just like, I go to the point, I got to study this, I can remember this, I can say that, I can remember this. And then I find out that I got all these joints that don't work. All my joints worked before I went to the military, and now they don't. And I didn't realize that because I used yoga to maneuver around all of them. But the simple things like put your heel on the ground and lift your foot up using your ankle, I can't do. And I'm like, at one point, and it's okay. I was having the exam, and he was like, "I don't think you can continue." And I was like, "No, fuck that. I'm gonna finish this. I'm not about to fail this doggone test." He's like, "Okay, got it. Lift your foot up." Ah, and so then I had to come to grips with all of that. So it was a lot. It wasn't like I was just whole. It was this whole thing, all of these things that are taking place, and I got doggone traumatic brain injuries because of how many times my head got hit with grappling and jumping out of vehicles and all kind of shit. And I'm like, what the fuck? When did that happen? And then Nola's like, you can't remember because it's an injury. Okay, so it was a lot going on last week. And so it just took it reared its ugly head. So the point is, what you highlight is what you experience on a daily basis. I knew this shit was about to happen. Yeah, so you go serve your country, and then you spend the rest of your life fucked up. And you got to be okay with that. And say, I can't do shit because of what I did. Humping the rock, road marching, flak jacket runs, and combat boots. Hundreds of miles with 60-pound rocks and shit. Shooting all them goddamn big ass guns. Weapons. Y'all should Google it. Google a Mark 19 and see how big that motherfucker is in the turret. The doggone rounds, the M203 rounds. Baby rocket launchers. You got to qualify on all of them. That weapon, and if you saw Predator, what's his name? Jesse the Body. That was a SAW and a 60. Had to qualify on all of them. The only thing I didn't qualify on was a 50 cal because they don't have it anymore. Talk about a Mark 19, an M16 A2 with an M203, a 9 mil, a SAW, a LAW, a light anti-tank weapon, which is the rocket launchers. In the prone, you got to be in the turret, you got to be in the prone position, you got to go through all of this stuff in the foxhole and all that. You got to do that twice a year. You got to throw 60-pound rucks on and march in full gear. Terrible. And now I got to relive all that. And now I can't use my body correctly. And they talking about you sure. The fuck? I'm out in the field for 30 days. You know what you smell like when you ain't took a shower in 30 damn days? You got to throw all that shit away. I had to live on a Korean Air Force base with non-potable water for a whole year. Don't drink the water. Don't drink the water. And they like, well, where your anemia come from? The fuck? I'm taking showers in rusty water. What the fuck you mean where it come from? So yeah, now I gotta live with all of this, and here I am thinking I'm all flexible and stuff, and I can't do simple acts without being in pain. My ankles just click, 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 and I thought it was because I'm old. But if you wearing combat boots and you sit up here marching on days on end with a pro mask, with an LBE, with a flak jacket on, with a 60-pound ruck, with a helmet, with an M16, M203, and combat boots with the pro mask wrapped around your leg, you probably gonna have problems after doing that for 5.5 years. You are sleeping on the ground, sleeping on a cot, and all of that. You jumping out of a vehicle because the seat is on fire, going 55 miles an hour, rolling on the freeway. That's probably gonna cause some problems with your helmet. Click, 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 all on your damn head. So yeah, I blew up yesterday, justifiably so. That's why Nola didn't go off. Okay. Anyway, what did you learn today? What did you learn about yourself? And what brain conversation did you have? You're amazing, and thank you for your service, and you're strong, and Nobel Prize will be so much more than just a medal. I did. I agree, Lorenzo. I love how you have turned the tornado storm into a direction of straight pathway that can be done. I am so humbly grateful to you. You are the OG mofo I have seen. Thank you for that, Sean. I appreciate that. I do. And so I have the biggest cognitive dissonance that I have is that I have to say, I can't do the things that I like to do anymore because my body won't do it. For a good thing. For a good thing. And I'm going to be brutally honest. If I ever come across, and I don't care if they say that I'm wrong for this, the next time I interact with a racist person who believes that this country is theirs, I'm going to ask them, what was you doing between January 1996 and June of 2001? What were you doing? So every night you went to sleep, that's because I was putting my life on the line for your bitch ass. Every night you went to sleep and you had all your civil liberties, I didn't, so you could sleep. So shut the fuck up and get out of my way. I wish they would. I'm still paying for those 5.5 years, still physically paying for them, physically, every day. So you go back, bitch. You sleeping because I wasn't. That's how that goes. But fortunately, a funny story is I had to go get the brain work done, and there was a Karen who was she was the person behind the desk. So I had to get my lab work done for my blood to make sure I'm anemic. And she was a Karen. And she was going off. She was telling people, next victim, next victim. And she was treating people all kind of crazy. And so she saw, my name on paper is Donna Thomas-Rodgers, right? So you don't know what ethnicity Donna Thomas-Rodgers is. And so I was next. But she was like, I'm going to call my next victim. And she said, Letitia. And Letitia got up. And I was still sitting down. And Letitia was European American. And she didn't know what to do with that. And so Letitia sat there. And Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers went to the appointment. So Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers lives in a different zip code. And I sat there in all my Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers-ness. And so somehow she had called everybody else a victim, a victim, a victim. And I was texting Nola saying, we got this Karen behind his desk. And online they said that LabCorp, that person behind the front desk, is terrible. They got bad reviews. But somehow, once she realized that I was not Leticia and that she pulled my veteran paperwork up because they have to pay for all the tests and everything, when it was time to call my name, what y'all think she said? What y'all think she said? Because it's automatic check-in. So she had been saying, next victim, Leticia, Carol, and Calvin. And my supervisor wants me to be nice, but I'm just not nice. She's saying all this. I'm sitting there very calmly, wearing my mask, waiting. And I'm next. I'm the next person in line, and she now sees that VES has sent me. No guess? She said, and she was older than me. She said, Miss Donna, yeah, here you go. You need my ID? She sure did. She called everybody else a victim. She said Leticia's name wrong, and then she called me Miss Donna. Oh, because you see it's veteran. So now you don't know what to do with that. She didn't know what to do because she thought I was Leticia. And I was not. Donna Thomas-Rodgers. On paper, you have no idea. You have no idea who that person is. And now, because I was me coming to a different zip code, she understood who she was talking to. And she was like, well, I don't think you have to do it. I said, no, I don't. I'm just here for my service-related anemia. I just have one test that I'm taking. Thank you. Just go back. And I said, got it. So that's what took place. So what you learned today, what you learned about yourself, and what was your brain conversation? So yeah, she said next victim. So this process has been very interesting. Same thing happened with the psychologist that needed to look at me for my depression because my body doesn't move the same. He did the same thing, but he got a different lesson as well. He sure did. So we were very clear when we left. Okay. Kevin said, today I learned brain dumping is a good thing. She didn't want none, not at all. So yeah, it's different. It really is. And I don't bring up those instances often because they have hijacked the amygdalas, but I have no issue letting them know who I actually am. So you got it confused. I had to do that on live yesterday. I have no problem doing it. None whatsoever. And no one should, because we shouldn't even be having to do it. It shouldn't even be a thing. But that's why I'm teaching people how to use the brain. So it's not a thing. Jessica said, I learned that I need to be more self-positive, although I am a positive person. And it is self-positive because you can be positive and you can be an empowering person for everybody else. And then when it comes to you, the amygdala is saying, the left amygdala is ruminating and reminding you of all your failures and faux pas and everything else. And that's why you have to regulate the emotions. Deep breathing works. If you haven't downloaded a deep breathing app, Nola is using one. She could tell you the one that she's using. It's free. Meditation, find someone on social media, find a meditation app, because that breathing allows you to be calm. Just think about every time something happens, you pause first and you respond, you don't react. Jessica said, my brain chat was with a fellow recovery at my counseling session yesterday, and it was nice to talk to someone about the doorway effect, and it blew his mind. I know that doorway effect, that's what Nola was talking about the other day. It is amazing. Breath work is the app that Nola is saying you all can download that she's using just to try it. Kevin, myself, sometimes growth comes when you do things you don't ever see yourself doing. Yes, tell me about it. That's the damn story of my life. Sean said, I have learned that to let go of what hurts to clear your thoughts. Yes, because it's in the way. If you don't let it go, if you don't purse, because they're just feelings. Feelings came to leave. What am I feeling? Why am I feeling it? And what I'm getting ready to do about it. So yesterday we found out what I was feeling and why I was feeling it, because it was all happening at the same time. And what am I going to do about it? I'm going to do more frequent brain dumps verbally instead of written down. Nola, I learned about myself with the self-reflections, my thoughts on things I didn't know. Yes. So what do I think? What do I think? Keep asking yourself that question. What do I think? What do I think? And part of the reason why I'm sharing my journey as a veteran, because we are invisible. We are definitely invisible. We had to be in impeccable shape and pristine human beings. And then we spent time in the military, and then people act like that we're okay. And most of us are not. You can't go and do that and not have some type of physiological shift because of what the mission of the military is. And so more veterans need to be more vocal about what is taking place. And not just the ones that deployed, and not just the ones that went to war. They used to call it not PTSD before that. Shell shock is what they called it before that. It's not that. It's the day-to-day. It's what you do PT for 5.5 days, 5 days a week for 5.5 years, running on concrete, rough marches, and all of that. That is going to impact your body. It's no different than athletes with the physicality that has to take place. You're young, you beat your body up, and then you want your body to function properly, and then it can't because it functioned improperly. You pushed it to the limit. And so what I trained my brain to do was to not feel pain. Pain is a weakness leaving the body, suck it up and drive on. And so now I'm training my insula to say, that hurts, stop. Don't do that, that hurts. So I got to say that as a soldier, you can't express any weakness, but now I have to say that hurts, stop. So that's why I had to go see the psychologist, because my brain won't stop when I'm in pain. It won't. It will keep going until the mission is accomplished. That's why if you're watching these SEAL team movies or anything else, Rambo, it's like how you sew yourself up, because the mission is the mission. And if you say that long enough, you can't feel pain anymore, which is not good, because pain is a warning saying stop, which is why I could rappel out of that helicopter, no skin on my hands. I could change my open abdominal wound. I had a bone marrow aspiration with no pain meds. Local anesthesia was back. I got 5 teeth pulled. 2 days later, mouth bleeding. I'm still helping Nola build furniture, because now you're just like, it's just pain. Override it. But where is the line? I don't know. So I got to go find it. Nola, I learned brain dumps with a lot of changes happening are important. And Lorenzo, I learned to not be afraid of the way I feel. Don't, because it is the insula, the natural portions of your brain are saying this is taking place. And it's the prefrontal cortex's responsibility to say if it's real or not. But mine has been trained. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. But it's bad. I mean, all y'all right now, just put your foot flat on the ground and lift your front of your foot up. And if I showed you mine, it would do this. Not this, not this. It's going to do this. And that's it. Both of them. Because I injured my left ankle and then started overcompensating for my right ankle. So neither one of them work. Like my ankles don't be ankling. It doesn't happen. Simple things that you just take for granted. I was asking Nola to do it. I'm like, are you serious? And it don't hurt. And it don't pop. And it don't click. So it's been interesting. Kevin, what was your brain conversation? And Sean, what was your brain conversation? So we could go ahead and go. So go check on a veteran today. If you know any veterans, just ask them how they're doing. Hey, how you doing? I was just calling to check on you. You know what I'm saying? You need anything? You good? Let's go to lunch. Let's just have a good time. Because we're not going to say it, not the real ones. But I tell you what, because I'm like, they talk about Veterans Day, Rudy Tooty, Fresh and Fruity. I'm like, I don't know fucking pancakes. The fuck I look like eating some damn pancakes. But now, oh yeah, I'm taking all the parking spaces at Lowe's if it's a blade of grass. I want it. I'm here for my blade of grass. I know I got desert landscaping, but I want my blade of grass. I heard y'all was giving blades of grass to veterans. Roger that. Roger that. Okay, so Sean and Kevin's brain conversation. Kevin, brain conversation. Spoke with my son about how important brain health is, just like heart health. Awesome. It is. And Sean, I have learned about myself is that focus on the highlights of what is positive for the brain. Yep, focus on the highlights for what is positive about the brain. And I'm saying feel your feelings, feel all of them. Go dig them other ones up, because what happens is it's sitting on top of your greatness. So you got, if you got something that's stored in a box in the garage, you're like, where's my high school yearbook? And you got all these boxes on top of it, and because it's stacked on top of your life, and now you're trying to get to that bottom box, and then in it is in the bottom of the box. That's what's happening. The feelings, trauma, whatever, all that stuff, and it's in the way of you getting to your next level. So if you find that you can't grow forward, something is stopping you, and that's why you say, what do I think? Because me not being able to say hearts, 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 finger hearts, gold bars, leprechauns, lions, chickens with feet, whatever the hell is happening over on TikTok, I don't even know what the things are. That's stopping me from accessing people on TikTok, because that's their language. So if I'm talking to a 4-year-old, I got to know about Doc McStuffin and Miss Rachel. So if I'm talking to somebody who is an avid TikTok user, I got to speak TikTok. And right now I'm not doing that. And so I have to be able to do that, because there are people on TikTok that won't come to Instagram, people on Instagram that won't go to TikTok, people on YouTube that won't go to the other two, people that's on Snapchat that's just staying over there. And I have to be able to go everywhere and say, hey, you want to learn how to use your brain? This is how you use your brain. So this is what I'm working through. So again, when you get a message from me, Sean, you're going to get a message from me here in a minute from Instagram. Just go ahead and do what I'm saying, because I'm still challenging myself. I do not think I'm there. I won't be there till the day after I'm no longer here. The challenges just get bigger and bigger and bigger, and you got to be prepared for them. So the things that I'm telling you to do today are going to help you for 5 years from now. You're going to already have a neural pathway in place and still be able to soar. But you can't do it if the thing I'm telling you to do today you're not doing. Then that's going to be compounded interest on the next thing that you're not doing, and the next thing. And then you're going to need all these skills from 2025. It's going to be 2030, and you ain't going to be able to do that thing because you didn't get them skills and develop them neural pathways 5 years ago. So that's what this is always about. So the things that I'm doing today are so that when I get my Nobel Prize in physiology, I'm going to be able to say, yup, and here's all the different groups, and here's all the research, and here's why it works, and here's why I'm standing here. Because of all these people who believed in a crazy lady, sometimes ugly crying with a brain t-shirt on, saying, hey, you're going to be a bad mofo too. So thank you for your time today. Thank you for investing in yourself going forward. Remember to ask yourself consistently, what do I think? You're going to pause and actually assess what you think. And your thoughts are your thoughts, and your feelings are your feelings. And no one has the right to tell you you don't feel that way. It's only unaccountable people that take, you ain't let that go yet. You're still thinking about that. When you finish and you grow through it and heal, it turns into a scar. You put some shea butter on it, and then you move on, and you can talk about it and say, yeah, that's that scar I got from there. Yeah, I did that. And so that happens. And my objective is that people don't have scars anymore. When you learn how to use your brain, you don't create scars. Hurt people, but smart people just make smart people smarter. Empowering people just empower others. That is a goal of mine, hopefully before I check out of here. So thank you again for taking time in yourself to think about what you think about. So start thinking about what you think about. And if you don't want to think about that, then think about something else. I will be back tomorrow, God willing, higher power in the universe, same time, same place, safe space, different brain t-shirt. You all go off and have a brain-tastic day. Take care.